Hello, friends. Welcome to another episode of TV is Our Real Mom. I'm Dave,
I'm Catie.
and you are listening to our weekly Survivor recap podcast in which we share our thoughts on the latest episode of Survivor. And here we are at the end of season 34, Game Changers. And what do you think of the outcome, Catie?
Well, the outcome was, it's what we expected. It was, I got to a certain point in the episode, and to me, it became the best possible outcome. So at least there's that. Um, and I don't want to take away from Sarah because she played an awesome game. It just wasn't super entertaining, but that doesn't mean it wasn't up there with a lot of other winners.
Yeah,
Sorry, not very.
I think like even Fishback maybe was saying that it was like he thought it was one of the best games of Survivor ever, or the best played game.
It could very well be. It's just not that flashy, but who cares?
I mean, what's not flashy about it? Are you just saying that like Sarah as a character isn't flashy? That's all you're saying, right?
Maybe that's all I'm saying, because she did pull some. And at the final tribal council, when she was explaining her moves, I was like, yeah, she was pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, she was good in Final Tribal Council too. She was good at explaining, like when it was really winding down, when it felt like it was the end of Final Tribal, she still had like one more long statement to make, and it was it was a clear explanation of two brilliant moves that she did. Basically, both of them involving using an advantage that belonged to someone else and using it against them. And so, I mean, doing stuff like that, it really, I mean, I feel like that's what people really love about Survivor. And once again, like, what do you value as a jury? And that was focused on with the outwit, outplay thing here. So,
has people say that they value challenge wins and stuff, but like, hasn't it always been like the actual gameplay has been the most highly valued thing? And we get upset when the jury doesn't value that.
Yeah, I mean, I think most people agree that they just like the strategy part of Survivor more than anything.
Yeah.
I think the people who value, like, and I say outplay because I feel like maybe I'm remembering this wrong, but Jeff Probst, when he said like we're going to focus on outwit and outplay, and he explained what each one was, and I seem to remember him saying outplay to him was we're gonna call that camp life and challenges, basically. So
he also included like advantages and twists in there too.
Oh, like how, I think he said like how you respond to them or something like that. And yeah, Sarah like didn't really have to react to any. I guess she had a couple of responses or reactions.
Well, isn't that when she spoke about the advantages she had?
Right. Yeah, I suppose. I forget like that there was a structure, air quotes, to it.
I mean, it was their first try with this new format, and they went with the most obvious way to structure it, and I thought it was fine. Like, it seemed kind of arbitrary what was an outwit, what was an outplay, and what was an outlast. Like, it didn't make a lot of sense to me. But
outlast makes no sense to me because
outlast is the people you put on the jury. Like, isn't that the same as the social game? I don't really understand.
Well, I think the way he worded it was like, okay, this outlast part is you get to try to move pieces of the jury. Like, this is your last chance to like move a juror, to convince a juror to move their vote. And I don't understand how that equals outlast, but
yeah, it was reaching. That was a reach.
It was reaching. But
that was quite a reach.
But yeah, if you take that part out of it, of just like trying to structure it around the outwit, outplay, outlast, I don't think this is my original idea. I think this is the know-it-alls that said this, but it's true. If you take that part out of it, I think I love the new Tribal Council format.
Yeah, I like it way better. Way better. Because I always thought it was so random. Like, a person stands up, they ask a question that they've been like harboring for months, or not months, but days, or else just a statement on how you screwed me over, and it's just so ridiculous. And it's like, what did that show the jury about the person you're addressing? Like, all you showed them is that you're bitter at them and they're probably not getting their vote. Like that, and it shows us absolutely nothing. So this was, and I thought it was also respectful to the caliber of player that is, on this season. They should have a chance to say more. And so I liked it. I liked it quite a bit. And there wasn't much I liked in the finale, but that was one thing I liked.
Yeah, the people on the jury, like you said, are high caliber, so it's nice to give them a chance to not just ask one question and be done, but to actually sort of everybody gets to participate in the conversation. Although some people participated more than others, right? I mean,
right. I thought Michaela was the clear MVP of that jury format. Like she was my hero on that jury.
like when she called out Brad Culpepper.
Yeah, and it's so. And I talked about this with her Ponderosa video last week. Like once she was out of the game, she was done with it. Like she let go of it. Like a woman 30 years her senior, Debbie, could take a lot of advice from her.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, like she called Brad out on like his relationships, and I think it's a good point that Brad did make solid relationships. Like I kind of side with Sophie Clark from Know It Alls last night that I think Brad's game should be defended somewhat. I do think the right person won. Don't get me wrong. I just think, you can't completely shit on Brad. I think he played a decent game.
He had social finesse in the first half of the game, but it's like once he felt on the bottom, like he becomes douche Brad again.
Yeah, and what Michaela nitpicked him about was correct, that basically the best Survivor players cultivate relationships with everybody.
Exactly,
like
not just your people.
Yeah, and a really great Survivor player, that's what they do. They have a good relationship with everybody, so their options are open. Whereas, yeah, like you said, not just your people. Brad, that's what Brad was doing.
That's what Sarah ran into, where Sarah ran into a few problems because she actually did that. And yeah, it won her the game, but she had to deal with some pretty hurt people because of it. But
right.
It doesn't, like she said, like I don't feel that doesn't negate the relationship, It doesn't mean it wasn't real. Like 7 days of sitting and talking with someone, does not negate the fact that, yeah, you voted them out because they were probably a danger to your game. Like that shouldn't, in my opinion, that should never negate everything that comes before it.
Right. I mean, it's Survivor. Like you should know that you can't trust what anybody says as far as like promises of, like I won't vote you out or I'll never vote you out. Like you can't believe that from anybody ever.
No.
So like, why take it so personal from this person? And so, yeah, like why is Andrea so emotional about being duped by Sarah?
I don't know. She seems like an emotional person.
Okay. Yeah, you don't got any inside info. You're the one who's supposed to have that stuff.
I didn't have time to like watch any. I read a few exit interviews and stuff today, but like, I didn't care. I know that sounds terrible, but it's like I've read so much about this season, and it's, go back in time 3 months and tell yourself who the final 3 is going to be, and tell me what your face is going to look like. It's not. And Sarah. I always saw a good player in Sarah. I picked her to win Cagayan, remember?
Yeah, I had Woo.
Well, he came closer than she did, but like at least I picked a winner. But no, like you always saw something in her. I just thought in a season with this caliber of player, she didn't stand out to me. But it makes complete sense when you think about it now, because she is good. But she's not flashy like these other people she's surrounded by. So, like, it was kind of a tailor-made season for her. Not that she didn't work hard to get there and everything, but I think that it was a little bit lackluster down the stretch, no matter how they try to package it. I'm not falling for it, Probst. I'm not buying it.
You don't think down the stretch Sarah played a good game?
No, I do. I'm specifically referring to Probst selling that Final 6 tribal council as like this great epic historic thing when it was just complete bullshit, and I was like mad from that point on for the rest of the game, for the episode.
No, I actually personally I disagree slightly. I don't know. I really enjoyed it. The just the craziness of it, because there was. Part of it probably is like listening to RHAP, being a fan of that show and how they've been building it up. Like everyone's talking about like Advantage Geddon
Mm-hmm.
And on our podcast, I don't know if we. Sometimes I can't tell. Did we get that idea from them, or did we come up with that on our own? That was a
Well, we all kind
possibility.
of knew it was they were all going to come clashing together, but it's like it's also we all predicted it. Like and exactly a scenario we thought of in our mind that could happen. One of our favorites gets just robbed because of these dumb advantages. Like and I don't know that there's much I don't know. It just frustrates me because I thought there were too many advantages and there's always a chance people are going to hoard them to the end. It happens frequently. Like I don't know why people are surprised that these advantages were held onto for this long because look who found them. People who weren't going to get voted out.
Right. Yeah. The people who found them didn't really need them, and that's what's going to happen.
See, I like it when like with the Jeremy and Kelly thing because those were the only two people that got the votes, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So like that was cool to see how that worked out. I mean, it sucked for Kimmy, sure.
Right.
But
the thing about that one too, though, something interesting to note real quick is we actually predicted that happening also.
We did, but like in a good way. Like, wouldn't that be cool?
Yeah, and I suppose that's just by nature of us being such analyzers of the game. We pretty much like think of every scenario that could possibly happen. And it's just interesting that.
But I feel like they should back off the advantages. Like, just back off.
Yeah, it does come down to this season being game changers. I think they felt like they had to really throw a lot of stuff out there to make it live up to its name and live up to the hype. So
I think we need to put the legacy advantage away.
Put it
Although
away.
Apparently Sarah needed it, so it really ended up saving the winner.
Yeah, I mean, Sarah would have gone home without it. So, I mean...
So, in that sense, I guess it paid off. But, well, I didn't realize that until after the episode when I was reading about it. You know, like, that didn't come across.
I watched the votes. I watched everybody show their votes. And I was like, oh, Sarah.
When did they show their votes?
Right after that tribal council. They
showed I was too pissed. I was probably crying.
You were crying, yeah. But yeah, I was seeing that. I was like, oh, Sarah. It was, yeah, she had the majority of the votes. And then, like, Brad voted Aubrey and Troyzan voted Ty, and then someone else voted Ty. So it was a 2-1 split for Ty and Aubrey, and then the rest were Sarah. So I think that's a 3-2-1 then, basically.
Wow.
Yeah.
I wonder if Suri engineered that.
3-2-1. She does like that, doesn't she?
She does, but
yeah.
And it does. I don't know. I was not consoled by all the. I felt like Probst was just trying to make up for what happened to her. You know what I mean? Like, you really got screwed, Cerise. So let me just compliment you, give you a standing ovation until people feel better. But I didn't feel better.
No, I completely agree with you there that the only reason Jeff Probst in that moment made such a big deal about Suri as a person and a player was because I think he sensed how big of a backlash there would be on this, and he was trying to damage control. And I think it worked pretty well. It was like a sleight of hand that really distracted everyone from what just happened. You're like, oh yeah, Suri's awesome. I forgot that she just got bullshitted out of the game in a terrible, terrible way. So,
like I said at the beginning of this conversation, I am not buying it.
Yeah. Right. So I don't know. I enjoyed the moment for what it was, but I agree that this sucks. Have you heard anything about like what people are saying about how Suri went out? Like
Twitter wasn't happy. Twitter is not pleased. I can tell you that much.
What do you? Is there any fallout from this? Do a lot of people like say that's enough? I'm done with Survivor. That was ridiculous. Or
no, because we'll never stop watching Survivor. But I think the producers will probably be like, let's cool it on the twist. We lost Malcolm and Suri because of this bullshit. And who knows where the season could have gone without that nonsense. So I just, it'd be cool to have I wish they'd do like a back to basics season. You know what I mean? I know people have said that, but just like no idols, no swaps, just go out there. I just want to see what happens. A new school mentality with an old school setup.
No idols though? I mean,
screw idols.
They really make things
the idols.
How about one idol in the whole game?
One idol, maybe. Like one ever. You play it, it's done.
That's what I mean. Yeah, like one idol in the game.
That.
That's cool. Because I mean, when you have this constant,
it gives it more power.
Yeah, it gives it a lot more power. And I also think like the only reason they put so many idols out there is because they want to level the playing field. Because if people did just play old school and stick to their numbers, it would be the most boring shit ever. They want to
I
give
know.
people a chance who are at the bottom. They want to give the underdogs a chance to flip the game around, and that's why I like the idols. But yeah, so let's keep at least one. But I like the idea of a back to basics season. That's really
They probably thought that, like, you had Malcolm and Tony out there, idol finders supreme. They probably thought maybe they would be the ones to find him, not friggin' Troy Zan. They probably knew Ty would find one. But
yeah. I mean,
kind of, I have this theory also that they said they didn't have Rice out there, and my theory was that they did that to keep Ozzy safe, to keep Ozzy in the game. Because millennials and Gen Xers had Rice, but they took away the Rice for the Game Changers.
Did they put Brad and Ozzy on separate tribes at the beginning? I can't remember.
No, they were together.
Oh, because I feel like they are probably the main provider types in the game.
Well, I don't know.
I don't know who else would really fish and stuff other than like maybe Malcolm, maybe JT.
Troy Zan, Malcolm.
Troy Zan, I guess. Yeah.
It was just a weird theory I had. Like, they wanted Ozzy to stick around, so they took away the Rice.
No, I like that theory. I think it's possible. Can we talk about Troy Zan for a minute?
Sure.
What do you have to say about Troy Zan? Give me something.
Yeah, I felt kind of bad for the guy because I think he overcorrected. He course corrected too hard, and that's a lot of second-time players are guilty of that, because he was too over the top in one world, and so he just wanted to be mellow. And I think he just was too mellow. Doesn't mean he wasn't involved in talking strategy, but he didn't come across as someone who like was in charge of anything,
Right.
because he's not. Yet Sierra came across as being in charge. So, I mean, he must not have been like, taking the reins, and that's because he was overcorrecting. Right?
Right. Yeah, no, I think so too. I think that's exactly what happened to Troy Zan in this game. I think he even said so in his final tribal. He's like, I just want to say that my strategy was basically what I did, which was to just lay low. I think in so many words he said that, but unfortunately he didn't play it up at all. He didn't even try. But from what I understand, he didn't get any questions from anyone for the first like half hour of tribal council. So
he didn't have a champion.
Yeah, he did. Unlike Zeke for Sarah, Troy Zan had no champion. Oh, I guess Ozzy had a champion too. Brad had a champion in Ozzy. Yeah,
and I called that before it even started. Like, because Ozzy only views Survivor in terms of like himself, and he saw Brad as him. And I'm like, okay, Ozzy, you lost by playing that game. Now he lost by playing that game. What more do you need? Like, you don't win by playing that game.
People don't respect it. The only time it's been respected is Mike Holloway, really. I feel like he's the only time that's ever happened.
And I still feel like Carolyn should have won that season, but whatever.
Yeah, I don't know. It's tough to say because, I mean, I don't know. I guess I disagree because Mike Holloway, he didn't just like win challenges. I mean, he like fought hard.
He was a presence from the beginning, yes.
And he fought hard across the board the whole game, and he worked hard at camp too. Like you said, that doesn't matter as much, but like hard work should pay off in at least one season. I feel like whooping ass challenges, busting your ass at camp, and like didn't he like using an immunity idol to his advantage as well? Like
he tried to do some kind of sneaky stuff with his idol, but didn't quite pay off.
I thought he pulled it off one time with like a Malcolm move where he's like,
he tried to like
Russian roulette.
He was gonna play it for Shireen because he wanted to save Shireen.
Right.
So but he never gave it to her.
That's right. Yeah. Okay. Well,
she got voted out.
Anyways, enough about Mike Holloway. Point being that someone has won the game that way. It is possible. And
but in a garbage season.
Yeah, but Carolyn, like you said, was a worthy adversary, I think.
She was. I thought she should have won, but you make a fair point.
But yeah, so I think Brad deserves some credit. And of course, Ozzy was right. I mean, that is a tough game to play. That is really hard to win that many immunity challenges, So,
but
it doesn't win you the game.
It also shows that you needed that to not get voted out.
Yeah,
I
it
don't know.
says
It's a fine line between what looks good and what looks bad, but I don't know.
there are different paths to the end. That's for sure.
Yeah.
You just don't know what the jury's gonna want. You know?
No, you don't.
Yeah.
But I'm glad this jury pulled it together. They really did. I was worried. Did you see the order they read the votes? They go Sarah, Brad, Sarah, Brad,
Brad.
Sarah, or no, Brad.
No,
I was
there were
like,
two
oh
Brads.
shit, it's
There were
over.
two.
It's
Yeah.
over. Like once there was 2 Brads in a row, I was like, this is done. I'm mad.
And it
But they
is
just
kind of
tricked us.
interesting to think about too. Like really, Brad is just two people changing their minds away from winning. I mean, he's close. He's pretty close.
3.
No, two, right? Are there 12 people on the jury?
There's 10, so you need 6 votes to win.
No, he needs five because Troyzan is the tiebreaker, and Troyzan. No, Troyzan's on the friggin'. He's in there, isn't he?
You don't think Troyzan would have voted for Sarah? They were doing it if it was
No,
Troy.
they did the hand raise thing.
Yeah, but that was Ty versus Brad, not Sarah versus Brad.
Oh, dude, Troy would have voted for Brad.
But Sarah and Brad or Sarah and Troy are really close now.
Are they? Oh,
Yeah,
I thought
he says they talk every day.
maybe he talks to Brad every day.
I hope nobody has to talk to Brad every day. Dude, I thought, that guy had such a golden edit, and then
Kind of went downhill, didn't it?
it's funny that the old Brad emerged. So you go back to thinking that maybe Brad, when he's doing well, is fine to be around. But when Brad doesn't like the way things are going, he's a butthole.
Yeah, I mean, notice one thing he said himself is like, in the reunion, he's like, I think I needed a Snickers out there.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I mean, honestly, he's probably friggin' starving. He doesn't handle it as well as everyone else, but I think he was hangry. I mean, look at his face like the last 3 episodes. He was just hangry as hell, man.
But it makes, and this is how I was starting at the beginning of the season. I said I didn't want to see Ty just be manipulated like that. And I don't know why people, or Brad and other people from other seasons, like, why do they feel like they can do that to Ty? Because he's little?
Because he's weak.
He's foreign? He's not that weak. Or you mean as emotionally? Okay,
yeah,
emotionally
I think
a little
he's
bit
like
weak.
he's kind of a pushover, and people like, I mean,
but that's no reason to speak to him that way.
I'm not saying it is. I'm saying that's why a lot of type A's do that to people they see as pushovers, people they can walk on. It's like primal, man. They just go for it.
It's funny that you see that how is like with the Caleb vote, you saw the way Brad talked to Ty with such like finesse and restraint. And then you saw this, 30 days later, and he was and it was awful to watch because you saw him like threaten him with the idols, like, you're gonna give me one, which is awful gameplay, first of all.
Here's what you're gonna do.
But second of all, like, he saw Ty defy him by playing it for himself and Aubrey, which was completely in his right to do. He didn't owe you anything, Brad. But then Brad continues with the same tact to go to him and be like, listen, Ty, the only way you're getting to the end is this and this and this. Like, it didn't work the first time. Why do you think it's going to work now?
Right. No, that was terrible gameplay because, I mean, like, Cirie and Aubrey's method obviously is a better method because who does Ty play his idol on? He plays it on Aubrey. So, like, you gotta understand that for someone like Ty, you got to appeal in the game of Survivor. You got to appeal to them, their emotional, like, you got to be nicer to them, and you gotta hear them and understand where they're coming from instead of just trying to bully them. But yeah. I will say that in the post game, it does seem like almost the entire cast is coming to defend Brad, basically saying that Brad, like, most of the time is a really awesome guy. And like that, the parts they showed of him bullying Ty, it was just one moment in the game where he's at the end of it and he's like pushing really hard, trying to win.
But it doesn't change the fact that he made Ty feel that way. The guy was weeping, that's...
Well, Sarah made Andrea cry.
Yeah, but it wasn't in the same way. Okay. He wasn't talking down to him. She wasn't condescending to Andrea. She just felt betrayed.
Right.
Whereas Ty was crying like because it was like a bully at school got in his face and said, "Give me your lunch money, or I'm going to stuff you in the locker." It's like the same thing.
No, it did kind of seem like he was strong arm bullying him, but I just saying that like everyone in the cast is defending him now, so he must actually be an all right guy. It's just
I don't think he's not an all right guy. I just think he has tendencies to be a dick.
right. Just be careful of like vilifying him completely and utterly and whatever.
Look, he had me in his corner for a long time, but I was I was not in his corner this episode.
Right.
In
Yeah,
fact,
I mean,
I was rooting for anyone but Brad. I didn't even care. I was like, Ty, beat Brad. I don't even care.
right. Yeah, the way this season ended basically put Brad back in the villain category. There's no way around it. And whether it's deserved or not, that's what the edit did for the character of Brad Culpepper on Survivor. So,
but Brad played a part in that. It's not just the edit.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. I mean, he had to have behaved that way to get it on camera. But, anyways, yeah. Did you realize this whole time that Sarah was wearing Zeke's jacket?
I did. Yeah, they mentioned that a few weeks ago.
No, I never noticed that. I never knew that until she said something.
Yeah.
Or no, Zeke said something, right? He's like, "You're wearing my jacket after you."
Yeah, I was confused at first. I was like, "Oh God!" I thought he liked her. And then he turned it around and said, because that is badass to wear the person's jacket that you like turned on.
That's right. Funny. And Brad said that was the moment he knew they had made a mistake when Zeke said that, because they had
a huge mistake.
Yeah, because they had gone in and brought Sarah thinking that Sarah had pissed everyone off and the jury would be bitter. But when Zeke said that, Brad said he knew that they messed up.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know why you wouldn't bring Ty. I mean, that really bothered me too. As Brad, I don't know why you wouldn't bring Ty over Sarah. I mean, I guess I get it.
He was butthurt.
Yeah, it does come down to an emotional decision, and Probst called him out on it in the reunion show, which was kind of interesting.
Yeah, he made sure that it's gonna haunt him forever.
Yeah, he's like, I just want to make. That was so weird when Jeff said that. It's so evil. He's like, I just want to make sure you're haunted by it. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, it was kind of terrible.
Yikes.
Yeah, I don't know. He made an emotional decision and it cost him the game. But hey, people are saying Sarah's the new Tony, and the same thing happened to Tony. Someone made a huge mistake by bringing him to the end, and he won. So
yeah. Did you hear the story yet about how Sarah locked down her final 3 with Troy and Brad?
With the wedding ring and the bracelet or whatever?
Yeah. So if Sarah had my wedding ring and threatened to throw it in the ocean if I screwed her over, I probably wouldn't screw her over, honestly.
You can get a new wedding ring. It's just an object.
Good point. I think Monica would have forgiven him for that.
Yeah, especially if he ended up winning the game.
Right, yeah. He probably should have turned on her anyways, yeah.
I don't think it even occurred to him what a game Sarah was playing. And like, he talks about how many times Ty betrayed him, but Sarah betrayed him too. And Ty, they voted for Ty. You know, they tried to vote him out. So like, it just, the reasons they get mad about this particular lie when compared to all the other lies and betrayals, like, I just find it very rich and interesting.
No, that's what I agree. That's what really bothers me about the Ty stuff is Ty is completely right when he says that, you know what? I think you're all being hypocrites. Like,
he was right. Yeah.
Like, why is it when didn't this happen in Co Wrong too? This same exact shit.
Oh
where
yeah.
He's like, why is it when I start trying to lie and be sneaky, like I'm horrible. I'm a horrible person. But like you guys all get a free ticket to do so. That really bothers me. That's
and me
not
too.
fair.
And the same thing at the beginning of the episode, like Sarah and Sari like called him out, like, and it's everybody does it. Sari betrayed Andrea. Sari betrayed you. Sari betrayed, and I love Sari, but like maybe it's just because she's tougher. I don't know, but they don't let Ty get away with it, and it's always been uncomfortable for me. And I love him as a character, but I don't want to see him play again because it's
ugly,
frustrating, it's ugly, and it's upsetting.
Yeah, for sure, it is. I totally agree, man.
Ty, you're too good for this game. Like, play something else. I mean, you're in the Survivor family now. That's great, but you you deserve better.
He'll be back.
Oh, please.
Please leave
Please
him at
no.
home. Leave Ty at home.
Yeah.
Oh, there's just so much to talk about with this episode, Catie. I actually really enjoyed it. I don't know, like, did you enjoy it?
Well, I went on an emotional journey through the episode. I went in with really high hopes that Aubrey or Sari could pull something off. Like, I thought somehow Sari was going to get to the final immunity and she was going to somehow win it, because just the way the kind of montage at the beginning came out, I was like, oh, maybe Sari's going to do something crazy. But the minute advantage get in happened and Sari was the victim, I was very upset. That was probably the peak of my upset. And then I thought, well, I guess my only shot is Aubrey, but there's no way they're not going to vote her out next, even with Ty, what he's done. And of course I was right. And so after that happened, I just kind of was like, at that point, because that's when they were showing Brad being a bully. And I was like, as long as Brad doesn't win, I guess I'm fine. So I guess I'm rooting for Ty or Sarah. And I'm glad it ended up being Sarah, because, I forgot in my cheering for Sari and Aubrey, like, I lost sight of the game she played, and she played a really good game and deserved to be rewarded. And had it gone the other way and Brad won, I wouldn't be happy right now.
Yeah, so it sounds like you didn't really enjoy the episode that much.
Every Survivor finale is different. Sometimes you end it with elation, like last season. Like, that was the greatest ending to a season probably ever. And then you have last season where Michelle and we're just shocked. And then you have something in the middle, like this season, like, yeah, I guess out of the people left, that's the best ending. So
it kind of reminds me a little bit of San Juan del Sur, where it's like the season kind of sucked. It had a couple good characters, but ultimately somebody who deserved to won, so you don't feel as bad about it.
Right. Yeah. Like and maybe because, and this final six tribal council is like a perfect example or metaphor for the season as a whole. Like, all this crazy shit went down in one tribal council. But, like, what does it mean? It just, I mean, yeah, a bunch of crazy stuff happened, but what does it all add up to?
Sari went home.
Well, yeah, I'm saying, but as the season as a whole, that's how I feel about the season too.
Right, it adds up to Sarah winning, which is okay, I guess.
It's just, I don't feel like it wasn't, I don't know, there wasn't much of a story, I guess.
Yeah, that's been a lot. There's been a lot of talk about that, how this season doesn't have like a story arc that ties it all together. It's just a bunch of random happenings. And what do you think of that? Do you think that's true? Do you think there's a story in here somewhere? I mean, don't you think Sarah at least has some kind of story?
I like Sarah's story, that she saw what she did wrong her first season. She took from the winner of the season, but with her own finesse. Like, she didn't act like a crazy person. So in a way she did it better, but she still followed the winner of her season. And that's a good story. But Josh Wigler made a good point about how
Wigler got a shout out in the reunion.
He did. Wigler's moving up in the world.
That's freaking crazy, man.
But anyway,
Rob Sesternino played Survivor once.
Twice.
Holy shit. Yeah.
But anyway, what was I saying? Oh, Josh Wigler said that it might be because in the beginning of the season they had to focus on those big characters that. Did I disappear? Am I here? They had to focus on those big characters that went out early, and because of that, they couldn't focus on the people who were there at the end. Because if the whole season had been like just Troyzan and Brad and Sarah, we would have been like, hello, show Malcolm, show Sandra. Like, what are you doing to me? But because they focused so much on those people at the beginning, we felt kind of confused when the story became about Sarah and Troy. Oh, not Troyzan. He was never part of the story. But I don't know.
No, I think that's a great explanation for it. I think that's exactly what that's the best case scenario for the editors. It's the only thing they could do. They had to give us more of the big characters early on since they're going to be gone in a few episodes.
Mhm.
So they just had to do it that way, which means we don't get to see the people who get to the end as
Mhm.
much, you know. But
Yeah.
they did the best they could, and unfortunately there's less of a story there because of that. And I think you're right. I think that's why.
Yeah, Wiggler always nails it. He did it again.
Yeah.
He did it again. Can we talk about, whatever, Jeff Varner, you are in a better place now, but go away, right?
Yeah.
Get out of here.
He really messed up at the end of the reunion show
Yeah, he had
by
people back in his corner, just like Brad. Like he had people with him, and then right at the very end, he just snatched it away.
yeah, I mean he felt compelled to plug a book that he hasn't even written yet.
Yes, and it's
So
like, imagine being Zeke and sitting there and listening to that garbage.
was that his way of like hoping to get brought back a fourth time of being like ultimate villain? I mean, but like
No, he's gross.
Survivor cannot bring him back. I mean, that they
Never.
would never do it. I mean, they're done with him that for what he did. And yeah, it's a PR nightmare if they did. But yeah, I mean, I was back kind of in his corner. I was like okay, Varner's kind of making it about himself again, even though he said the right words, like this is about Zeke. He's still kind of making it about himself, but at least the best thing you can do is say, I made a mistake, and that's what he said. So
But
I was
like
with him.
on Twitter and stuff, the day of the finale, he released this thing about, I finally get to tell my part of the story. And I'm like,
You're part
the
of the
best
story.
thing
You did what you did.
the best thing you could do is to just shut up about this. Like,
Yeah.
I understand you went on a journey too, but I don't need to be a part of that journey. Your journey does not matter to me, and nor anyone else, do I think. I'm going to write a book for people who have acted like assholes and must feel shame for it. And like, he always is still on Twitter, like being all defiant and stuff. And it's like, dude, you gotta stop. Like,
bad move.
Yeah,
the way he ended that, like, I was like, okay, he's despicable. Like,
he is. Did you hear on Rob's podcast how Spencer was talking about him?
No, what did Spencer say?
How Jeff Varner would say things about how Spencer, like how he was autistic and stuff. And it's like,
oh yeah,
Jeff Varner's just a dick.
Yeah, didn't that actually show up in a confessional from Jeff Varner?
I think, yeah, it sounded vaguely familiar.
Yeah, I feel like in that season that's in a confessional, and that's why Spencer brought it up. But it wasn't like something we didn't see. It was like,
okay, but like it reminded me that maybe this guy just doesn't have a clue.
Yeah, I think Varner said something like, "Yeah, I think Spencer might be on the spectrum, but he's like,
but
he's like a genius or something, like."
Yeah, I think you're right. That sounds oddly familiar to me.
Kind of a dick move. Yeah, I think it was early on, maybe episode 1 or 2, where
of course he didn't last very long. Had to be
like on. Where he's like trying to be a beach person with the youngins, and I think that's when he said it about Spencer in confessional. Anyways, that's neither here nor there, really. Right. Other than Varner's despicable. I don't know. It's sad that it's sad because we loved him in Second Chance, but
yeah,
it is what it is, man.
It is.
He's a sassy bitch, and that was fun.
You can be a sassy bitch without being an asshole.
Yeah, I mean, he was a sassy bitch, and it was fun at the time, but like, turns out there's a lot of real ugliness behind it, I think.
Yeah.
So, and you know what? To be honest, I saw that in his character back in Australia. I saw that.
Okay, see, I didn't watch Australia, so
it was pretty apparent he was kind of an arrogant prick back then too. I don't know. But even back then, yeah, he was funny, and he was not necessarily. Well, I guess he was kind of a favorite up until that vote, a favorite to win. So, anyways, enough about Varner. What else we got? There's so much we could talk about in this episode. I mean, we haven't even really talked about stuff that's happened in the episode. I mean, there's probably a lot to. What did you think about, like, we could talk more about the reunion, I guess. I don't know. That's a lot of, that's
or
like
Stephen Fishback calls it the finale. Did you watch that?
Yeah, I heard that. He
said it like 8 times.
And then Sophie's like, oh, you mean the reunion?
Yeah. What did I say?
Um, shit. What was it?
Sorry.
I lost my train
Are
of.
we going on with the reunion? Something
Well,
that
I just feel
happened?
like the reunion's top of mind, so because it's the last thing that happened, so maybe we can work our way backwards from there. But I was just gonna ask, like, what did you think of how they handled the Zeke stuff? Like, maybe spent a little too much time on it.
I like that Zeke got the majority of the time. That was a good
Right.
call.
Right. Yeah.
Um, I loved the Wiggler shout out. Who doesn't? And it was, it's not anything we haven't already heard, in my opinion. I read so much about it the week it happened. Like, you kind of heard it all already, but I felt he seemed so nervous. I felt bad for him. Like but you could tell also maybe he was excited because this is probably the last time he's going to have to really talk about it so publicly, so it's leading to good things for him apparently. So that's awesome.
Right. And so you thought CBS and Survivor handled it pretty well?
Yeah, I think there was a little bit too much focus on it, and you could tell that all the smiling with the Jeff Varner part of it was like so fake. But they have to let Jeff speak. They shouldn't have let him speak at the end, but they had to let him speak at the one part.
Did you notice that they were like playing him off multiple times?
Why did
Like
if they didn't have to let him speak, they let that guy get the last word in on the season. That's unforgivable.
yeah. Sorry. Oh, sorry. I was talking about Probst. How they were
Oh.
playing off Probst with the music, like they would at the Oscars. And then Probst at the end, he's like, "They're playing the music. I don't care."
Probst gets so animated. Like he's like, "Yeah, Survivor."
He has to. Yeah. Did you notice like he has a new voice? He has a new voice. It's like he's got some grit to it now. It's like Survivor, like that kind of. You notice that?
I did notice it. It's a little weird. It's a little
Kind of
weird.
strange. Kind of strange a little bit.
Yeah,
What'd you think of Ozzy's like political statement at the end?
Say microcosm one more time. That was basically my entire thought
It's a
process.
microcosm of a microcosm of.
I mean, it's understandable for him to. I mean, he's whatever. He's
obviously liberal,
pretty big anti-Trump guy, but his family's a family of immigrants, so it makes sense.
Yeah, that does make sense. Fair enough. Let's see here. What did you think of Brad's get up at the reunion special?
It made sense.
It worked. It worked for him.
It did. I don't mind it.
He looked like a guy out of Office Space or something like that.
Except he's like cut.
He should have had glasses.
Did you see how like Monica tried to horn in on Sarah's hugging her family?
What did she try to do? Hug her?
She was like Sarah was trying to hug her family, and Monica Culpepper was in there. It's like, bitch, I win $1 million. The first person I want to hug is not you.
Yeah, she might be a little off her rocker there.
Culpeppers don't win. Culpeppers can't close. Culpeppers need to back off.
Closers don't get coffee. Wait, no, coffee is for closers, so they don't.
So coffee is not for Culpeppers.
There you go. We found it.
Terrible.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I have much more to say about the.
I don't have much more to say.
What about Aubrey and Cochran? What was that all about?
I mean, you could tell she was joking in the episode. Like, they should have left that alone. Any chance to show Cochran uncomfortable in the audience. Like, I don't know why. I mean, yeah, Cochran's awesome, but Jeff Probst just is obsessed with him.
I know, it's really weird. I love how Aubrey called Jeff out on that. She's like, "You're in love with Cochran."
Yeah, basically. I think Jeff's way more in love with him than Aubrey is.
That was awesome. I loved that.
Aubrey is so amazing.
Yeah, she's fantastic. Bring her back every season.
Bring her back every season and freaking show her when she's on it because she deserves to be showed. Assholes.
Yeah, absolutely. What I thought one thing was really interesting. One of the first topics Jeff covered with Sarah was she was talking about, okay, you got permission from your family to do whatever it took to win this game. And then I think that works so well with what happened with Jeff Varner this season and the discussion we had around that. It's like, okay, so if Jeff Varner gets permission to do whatever it takes to win the game from the people that care about him and the people he cares about, is it okay for him to do what he did? Like, absolutely not, right? I mean, so like there is a line there. Even if it's a strategy to talk to your family and be like, hey guys, is this okay?
Mm-hmm.
that is this going to be okay if I do whatever it takes if I really come off as a terrible person, but we get the
Mm-hmm.
million? Is that okay? So it's like, I don't know, it juxtaposed with this Varner thing where it's like there is a line, like
Well, and
there's a
Sarah's the
line.
perfect person to have in that scenario because she's going off about how she's playing as a criminal, but she was probably, other than Zeke, the most profoundly affected person there. And she knew where the line was. Like, it's one thing to, like, yeah, be friends with someone and vote them out of a game, but she didn't vote anyone out of a certain part of their life. You know what I mean? Like, what Varner did to Zeke is, like,
It's very
different.
personal.
It's personal. It will
Yeah.
affect him forever.
Yeah.
And whereas, Sarah can mend friendships that have lasted 30 days or whatever. There's a difference. And Sarah's smart enough to see that. Varner's not.
Right. And I think that is where the line is. It's like, okay, do whatever it takes to win the game in the game, but don't mess with people in their personal lives outside of the game.
Exactly. Like Sarah didn't do anything that was like gonna mess up people's lives at home.
Other than, I really want to
Absolutely
know,
not.
I feel like there's so much more to the story with her, with like what she was telling people, like, because they all felt really pissed at the beginning of that tribal. I wasn't sure where
This
it was
is what
going.
I mean about Sarah. Like, I feel like if you were to hang out with Sarah, and you can kind of see it on like Periscope videos and stuff, like just raw footage of Sarah, not edited footage of Sarah.
You've watched Periscope videos of Sarah?
I watched one that Troy Zan put up, okay?
What,
Like,
you watched Troy Zan's Periscope?
he was there with Sarah, and I'm like, why is he hanging out with Sarah? And Sarah looked like she was fun.
Oh,
That's
okay.
all I'm saying, okay?
Fair enough.
And
Is this something you can click on when you're just like browsing
when you
Periscope?
scroll through Twitter, people put Periscope videos up.
Oh, I
And
didn't know you could post Periscope on Twitter. That's pretty cool.
Troy Zan knows how to do it. He's savvier than I am.
Okay, did
But
we ever
anyway,
find out why he was blocking everybody?
yeah, he was genuinely pissed. In one of his exit interviews today, he called Gordon Holmes an asshole. So,
Okay, can you put a pin in what you were talking about and explain to me why he's pissed at everybody?
he just got tired of hearing negativity about him because people
Because he was so silent.
were just not giving him credit. And to be honest, his role in the final tribal council was, hello, I'm here too. So the edit really did reflect his game. Not
Absolutely. If the jury feels that way, then there's got to be truth in the context of the game.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the edit was true. I mean, yeah, so he shouldn't really be that mad, I don't think.
Well, he did an exit interview with Josh Wigler, one of the people he blocked. So
I just heard, an interview. Him and Brad did their exit interview together with Rob C.
Okay.
Yeah, but anyways, so
He never blocked Rob. What was I talking about?
You were saying Sarah was like, seems like a cool person or something like that.
But her confessionals are just hard. Like, she's like a cop talking. She's like,
she's a cat.
What's going on? This is what's happening. Cops, you ever watch Parks and Rec and how they kind of roast cops? You know what I mean? Like when the cops, because Leslie dates a cop. And so they go to like this cop party. Yeah. And like they interview a bunch of the cops and they're just all dry and boring and they speak the same way. And, you probably just get, when you're around people, so many cops all the time, every day of your life, that's probably how you speak when the focus is on you. You know what I mean? She's not animated in her confessionals, but she clearly is animated when she's around people. They talk about important things, like she asks questions. That's one of the things that it's weird, but it's hard to find in conversation today where people actually look at you and ask you questions about your life. Like, it doesn't happen to me that often. So
you're saying you would be terrible in confessional?
I don't know if I ask questions to people. I'm saying not many people ask questions to me.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Obviously, I'd be great in confessional because I'm great on this, right? I'm just kidding.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Sorry. Strike that from the record. But I think it was her confessionals.
Really, her confessionals what?
We're boring.
Oh, yeah, I think we've covered that.
Like if you compare her to Tony, it's night and day, but they played similar games.
Sure, yeah. Like I said though, I would just like to know more about why everyone was so upset with her, like, and why everyone felt so close to her and so betrayed in the game of Survivor. Like, and they were all so shocked that she betrayed them. And I guess
Who was shocked? Let's take account. Okay, it was
Andrea.
Andrea.
Well, it seemed like there were a few people that were like
Yeah,
agreeing with
tell me
her,
who
like
else. Sierra.
Sierra. I mean, at least a few, if not four. You know,
Well, I'm
where
telling you to name them.
I don't know, Debbie.
Debbie was a loser, but yes, Debbie
uh,
was like, Debbie, get out of here.
Haley.
That's one person. Haley voted for Sarah.
Okay, can we talk about Haley Ford for a second?
Why? She didn't was barely there.
I thought she contributed a lot to the final tribal council.
In what way?
I'm
She was like,
totally.
she basically was just like, I really like this conversation. That was her contribution.
Yeah, that's me. I am Haley Ford is my spirit animal.
Whatever, she's fine, but she just wasn't. I think it's
We're
funny.
having a podcast.
The first person of the jury always seems to be like the foreperson, you know? Like they take their responsibility seriously as like the shepherd of the jury. And I think that's kind of just what she was doing.
Just kind of sitting back and not adding anything, being the shepherd.
Yeah, I don't know.
All right, fair enough. We got some good Debbie cackling in there. That was good.
Debbie can go jump off a bridge.
Jeez, that's a little harsh, Catie. I think you need to rein it in a little bit.
Well, good guys finish first. That was a little rich.
Yeah. I don't know. Let's see. We could talk about.
I don't know that there's much more to say. Is there much more to say?
I don't know. I got notes. I got notes coming out my ears, man.
I know, but like I feel like we've discussed. I'm just ready to put this season to bed. I really am. I mean, it's like the shortest Survivor season ever, but I feel like it's just I've been waiting for it to end.
Who said what a great season? Oh, that was Ty. Ty, when he got his torch snuffed, he says to Jeff, and it was really cute. He's like, "What a great season."
I know, he's so sweet. That's what I mean. He's too pure for this game. Just get him. He just go live with Mark and your cats and just live a happy life. Don't play Survivor.
What did you think when Troyzan said that he felt like he could beat everyone? Like nobody could beat him. He didn't think anyone could beat him. What were your thoughts at that moment?
I thought he just wanted to appear to be confident in front of the jury.
So it was all an act. He really knew he was screwed, right?
I don't think he knew how screwed he was until the beginning of the final tribal, but I think he kind of, he was just trying to play to the jury, which is fine.
Right. I think another reason we didn't get much of Troy this season is because he's also pretty bad in confessional. Like, he's very matter of fact and not much Aubrey or Zeke upside there.
No, definitely not.
Suri got a standing ovation. I think I like teared up at that part.
Suri got to say the tribe has spoken, which is dumb because they didn't.
What, he let her say the tribe has spoken?
She got to say it. She said the tribe has spoken. He did not say it.
Oh my God. Do you think that was like because of the way she went out? They thought it was...
Yeah, that was all wrapped up in Probst trying to make her feel better. But I also think Probst feels some great reverence for Suri. And I think it's cool that two people got like standing ovations when they got voted out. And it was Suri and Sandra.
Oh, yeah. Perfect. I mean, the
most deserving.
The badass bitches of Survivor.
Yep, the Mount Rushmore. They'll be up there with Boston Rob and Parvati.
I have a quote here from Ty that's really sad. He's like, "Great, now I belong somewhere."
Let's stop with the Ty. Like I got another one. I was cheering for him to win because I felt so bad for him.
He's like, "I feel like a dog," and Brad created fear in me.
He doesn't like English is not his first language, but he's like super eloquent sometimes.
Well, yeah, I mean, like you can see his stream of consciousness is clearly intelligent and
Yeah.
like he gets it. It's
Some of the
just
words he comes up with, I'm like, damn, Ty.
and just being that it's his second language is just makes him more difficult to get across what his train of thought is. Even
Mm-hmm.
though you can follow it and you're like, yeah, this he's extremely intelligent. It's just,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, smarter than I am because I can't learn a different language.
That's
That's
why it bothers me that, Brad talks to him that way. Because it's like, who do you think you're talking to? Like, just because he's little or whatever, I just feel like there's something uncomfortable there that I don't like. And
right.
nobody liked it, obviously. Brad didn't even like it. So
True. This was kind of a weird little thing. Did you notice when you were watching? Did you watch the commercials at all?
I don't remember. I usually use them to cry or go on
Yeah,
Twitter.
yeah. They advertised the latest box set DVDs of Survivor
Oh
coming out.
yeah, finally, San Juan del Sur. I'm like, yeah,
Yeah.
I've been waiting
No,
for
but
that one.
what was really funny to me was I had to rewind and confirm, but I can confirm this. They showed the DVD. Obviously, this is San Juan del Sur, Worlds Apart, and
Cambodia.
Cambodia, and they showed the three of them, and they showed Worlds Apart the DVD, but the announcer guy he said Survivor One World, and
Oh
Survivor
yeah,
came.
he
Yeah,
did.
he said the wrong thing in a freaking ad, a professional ad by CBS, a major network. They neglected to notice that the guy freaking said the wrong thing.
Well, what did
Like,
we say about Survivor seasons with the word world in them? They're trash. So
yeah, but I mean,
doesn't matter.
doesn't that ever make you think like why don't I have that guy's job? Like I can
It's
do
like
that
the
stuff,
same
and I
thing when you go
guarantee I
on like
wouldn't miss that. I would not miss that. I'm
it's like the
sorry.
same thing when you go on Facebook and you see like a tweet by like People Magazine or a post by People Magazine or Entertainment Weekly and there's typos in it. And
Like
there always are. They literally are always wrong. And it's like, how? You are like a major publication. Like, do you just have unpaid interns doing this shit for you? Like, spell check or just make sure that this is right. Have someone proof it. It's
I just think,
terrible.
yeah, like it's hard to find people who are actually good at those kinds of jobs, and it's all politics, and the wrong people get those jobs.
Ugh.
I don't know, it bothered me a lot. I was
I
like,
didn't
come
even,
on.
I mean, I heard that in my mind, but I didn't look at the DVD.
I heard it and I second guessed myself, and I had to rewind and check, and it was definitely
He
One
definitely
World.
said One World.
Yeah, it
I
was
know what he
crazy.
said. I just didn't see the picture.
I don't know. I just had to put that out there. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's terrible.
um. Okay, so I'm good on my notes. We've
Okay.
talked about some stuff, some good stuff. How do we put a bow on this season?
Well, we can try to end on a positive note, maybe.
Sure.
Um, Malcolm didn't win, which I
Oh,
predicted.
that's a negative note.
And that's not how I'm going to end. I'm going to end by saying maybe this season is game changers because Sarah came back and won by changing her game.
Oh, okay. That would make sense. Yeah.
There
Yeah, I
you
mean,
go.
we can make it make sense. That's cool. I can dig that. Um, I would like to say, I guess, my thoughts on the season as a whole. Like, we questioned this in a few podcasts. Like, does this happen every season? Because I feel like it does. Where I sort of lose interest in the three quarter point of the season. I'm always like, this is gonna be shit. It's gonna suck. And then I always assume the worst case scenario for the final three and the winner.
Uh-huh.
And I'm usually wrong. Usually the person who deserves to win wins. So it's like more of the same this season, I guess. And I wish we could have gotten more out of Malcolm because I'm a Malcolm fan. I mean, that's obvious. I'm
Mhm.
biased. I'm super biased.
Mhm.
I think that I'm a fan of Malcolm. Okay.
Yeah, we're still bummed about that. That was hard.
And Tony, as much as I don't think he's as good of a player as everyone like hypes him up to be now that he won and whatnot, he's obviously one of the most entertaining characters of the show, hands
Mhm.
down. So I wish we could have gotten more out of him too. And yeah, that's the biggest thing I think I'll take from the season. Like, God, I wish I could have gotten more out of those two guys.
Yeah.
And then how weak it got towards the end because the characters weren't that rootable.
Mm-hmm.
And but once again, a San Juan del Sur type feeling. Like, I'm satisfied with this winner.
Mm-hmm.
I can
At
walk
least we
away
can
from the
take
season.
solace in that. She was one of the most deserving winners out there.
Yeah, no,
But that's only
absolutely.
because we didn't get to see what some people were capable of. But that's true every year, I guess. Every
Mhm.
season. So just a quick question.
Right.
Heroes, healers, hustlers, you in?
I think it sounds cool, like personally.
I hate the title.
Yeah, I mean it sounds bad, but I
You
mean
can't even say it. I had to think about it before I said it.
a lot of
Heroes, healers,
people
hustlers. Triple
really
H.
hated the sound of Millennials versus Gen X too.
Exactly.
I'm
That's
pretty
what
sure.
I was thinking. I was like, and I love that season. That's because that's standing as like one of my favorites.
Where did Dalton Ross put that season now? Is it
Number
at
9?
9? That's really good. I mean, for
Yeah,
34
that's top
seasons.
10, baby.
Top 10, baby.
But yeah, I think the characters look top notch. So I'm excited.
No, I think the characters look pretty good. I don't know about top notch, but I'm always like skeptical because I mean
Ryan,
we're
you don't
just
think Ryan looks top notch?
I don't know,
He's
man.
a bellhop. I didn't even know they still had those.
Yeah, I mean bellhop, the whole bellhop thing really sells it for me, but yeah, it sounds like everybody's excited about Ryan. Another nerd character though. I don't know if we're gonna get another. I think we're due for the nerds to get chopped early like they're supposed to. Like that has to happen soon. I just wonder if
nerds
maybe
are good, man. Nerds are good.
they are good because I think they painted him in this short preview as a super fan. So he's going to be your typical David Wright, or is it David Wright? Did I get that right?
Yep. David Wright, Adam Klein,
Did
Zeke,
I get that right?
Fans.
Yeah. So you're, Cochran, David Wright, Zeke, whatever. I feel like we're overdue for a nerd that gets chopped early. So I don't know. But why show him? They always show people that do well in the previews.
Not always. Not always.
Like who in Millennials Gen X went out early that they
Paul.
I got it. No, yeah, and first vote of the season was first vote of the season or first vote of Millennials?
Millennials.
First vote of Millennials was the YouTube chick. What was her name? Mari. Yeah, she was featured in the preview.
So was Paul. He was the third vote.
Both those guys were featured. Yeah, so
yeah, it doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, so I don't know. I think we're due for a Ryan chop. Although
but remember how prominent Zeke was in the Millennials Gen X preview?
He was
and
very
people
prominent.
were like,
him and David Wright both, and they featured them together.
And you don't think Ryan's gonna be like that? He's one of those guys.
I mean, I would be weary of him if I was like out there. I'd be like, this is that guy that he's gonna go.
But his strategy is like, I'm average at everything. That's how you win.
Good point, actually. Damn.
If that's his strategy, he'll be okay for a while.
Are you you think you'll ever apply for Survivor?
I don't want to go out there and live with bugs and snakes, but I also don't think, it's inspiring when Cerie's like, get off the couch and apply and all this stuff. And maybe one day if I'm feeling like particularly despondent about where I'm at in my life, but I don't think that's a good time to make a Survivor tape either. So I don't know.
Think you and I should play Blood versus Water.
I don't know if they'll do a all newbie Blood versus Water, but if they do, we can apply.
Yeah, we're in. We're a shoo-in, man.
Oh, for sure. We're so exciting.
Yeah, well, I don't know. We have a quality about us.
The only thing we have about us that would work for us is the super fan thing.
Yeah, we could just,
super fan brother and sister.
Yeah, there you go. And yeah,
it's better than San Juan del Sur, where half of them had never watched the show.
Right. Like I would play, but my life right now is not interesting enough to ever get me cast. And
go get a job at a hotel, say you're a bellhop, and bam, you're in.
Yeah, I also just don't feel like I would be ready yet, and who knows if I ever would be. But there might be a time in my life where I feel ready and I might apply. So I don't know. We'll see.
Okay, we shall see.
Alrighty then. Any final thoughts on this season, Game Changers, season 34?
No, I'm really ready to see it go. Like we've been talking about this cast for over a year. Like I'm done.
Okay.
Sorry if that is kind of a downer, but
No, I'm done too. That'll do it for this episode of the podcast. Thank you guys so much for listening. A bit of a longer one this time, maybe, but I
Yeah, it
feel
was a
like
3-hour
it's a
episode.
long episode, so it was worthy of a long discussion. And yeah, thanks for watching. You can follow us on Twitter at TV is our real mom, and be sure to like, comment, favorite, subscribe, and all that good stuff. All
You
right, we'll
know
see you
it.
guys later. Have a good one.
Bye.